Hello, it's Hena Kim from South Korea. I'm Korean writer. First of all, I'm grateful to inviting here. So I'm very honored to uh, speak here. Practicing yoga stories. Uh, in the beginning, I started to practice yoga, writing a book more healthier. In the beginning, when I was 20, I started writing a book. And at that time, I realized that uh, writing it needs lots of time. And I had to sit down on my desk for a long time. So at that time, I usually wrote down about for more than 15 hours a day, actually. So I was sick many times. Yeah, shoulder and hip bone, or my back, lower back, it was too sick. And it made me many headache. And I couldn't digest the foods properly. So I many times I went to the clinic. So I realized that if I want to write a book for a long time, I have to uh, I have to be healthy. So uh, that's why I've started to practice yoga. Uh, so mm, yeah. So yeah, in the beginning, the reason do I yoga, yeah, only for writing, but uh, in my 30s, after I dreams came true to be a writer, mm, sometimes uh, I wanted to give up for writing because creative writing is too difficult, and I cannot make myself always be creative. So uh, it was for sure it was a hard work. So and writing a book, it couldn't make lots of money. So it's not an economical job actually. So uh, when I faced the fact of a writer, uh, I wanted to give up my job. So that's why I went to Mysore, Bangalore, India. Eh, in Mysore, I only practiced yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and studied yoga philosophy and Sanskrit, something like that. And at that time, I wanted to live my life only do yoga and teach yoga there, actually. However, uh, while I was practicing yoga deeply, it made me uh, it made me saw myself uh, properly, and I found out my identify through practicing yoga. That identity is a writer. I found. So mm, as I do yoga more and more, uh, I find out my desire to write and describe everything what I mm, discovered and experienced. So, uh, so do I yoga more and more. Practicing yoga made me keep writing and keep going to my life. So nowadays, practicing yoga and writing a book, it's uh, it's go to um, it made me keep living, keep going uh, for myself at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's great. So you initially started yoga as a way to help you out health-wise while you were writing, but it ended up giving you new strength to continue writing as a profession. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, you started yoga and you came to Mysore to practice Ashtanga yoga. So, what were some things that you initially thought about India when you were still in Seoul? What were some misconceptions or some ideas about India that you had? But when you actually came to India and lived here, what things did you realize that, oh, India isn't like this at all? Did you have any such instances?
Before I came to India, many international people have imagined about India. Uh, it's actually about Buddha. Many international people think of India. It's Buddha first here. So many people imagined that uh, India is very peaceful and spiritual land because of Buddha, and uh, and I thought that many people worshiping for Buddha, but in actual, in real, uh, after I came to India, I realized that not many people believe Buddha actually. It's a Hindu culture and religion, something like that. Many people go to only Hindi temple and many kinds of Hindi goddess. So I couldn't see many people to believe Buddha here, and I saw many poor people actually, poor and uneducated people here, and mm, it was totally different from my imagine before I came to India, because I thought the Indian people are very peaceful and spiritual, all of them. But not many people, not poor and uneducated people are still very painful and they are hard work to living. So, um, so I was shocked a little bit how Buddha could be realized the life and uh, could be a kind of God uh, from the India, from this India.
It could
Yeah.
be because of the hardships he endured here and the hardships that he saw that he was able to gain enlightenment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other instances in which maybe you thought people were like unfriendly and then it turned out not to be so?
Yeah. Before I came here, I've heard lots of rumor of India, and there are many crime, especially sexual crime for foreign women, and but after I came here, uh, I saw more than I saw many people are very nice to international people, and they always helped me when I have problems. Uh, so yeah, it was good experiences, and in Mysore, especially, I have stayed a house. It was homestay, and the landlord, he was a dentist. He already passed away actually, but he was a dentist, and they are very smart and very polite for me, even though I am a woman and Asian girl. They always polite to me and always helped me. So I was really happy stay with them. So uh, so I mm, my mind is changed about Indian people after I stayed here. Yeah.
Nice. It's always good to experience something for yourself and then make judgments about it, right? So, in some of the works you've done, India plays a very important role. You feature India in your stories. So, have any events in your books, which you've written, have any of those events which are set in India happened to you in real life?
Yeah, I have written a book. Title is We on Chamundi Hills. It's actually Chamundi Hill in Mysore, Bangalore. So uh, while I was practicing yoga in Mysore, uh, I have climbed the Chamundi Hill many times. I really liked watching the sun setting on the Chamundi Hill. It was a beautiful and marvelous time for me. So that's why I wrote down the scenery from the Chamundi Hill in the beginning of my book. And and the space I have stayed, I saw many workers who are making buildings. Even though they are doing hard work, they looks always happy. Uh, s- so I was wondering how they are happy even though they work harder. I wanted to know the reason, and it was a kind of topping my stories. Yeah, and after I practice yoga every morning, I had many idli and dosas. I love coconut chutney and dosa have at the same time. That's why I put the breakfast scene on my novel. So many kinds of experiences in India. It's very uh, yeah, it's very joyful and special for me. Yeah.
That's good. I've read your book Beyond the Chamundi Hills. I would recommend it. In that, there's a scene somewhat towards the beginning where the character May, she sees a statue of Nandi.
Yes.
And it reminds her of traditional Korean animal masks. Was there anything in India which suddenly reminded you of Korea when you least expected it?
Mm. Yeah. Uh, yeah. After I came to India, uh, I saw many Hindu god and goddess in the temple, and you know, I have read Hindi mythology books. I actually the East Asia, such as China, Korea, and Japan, uh, they are many various. They have many various religions, and they believe many kinds of God too. So. It was very familiar about to seeing Hindu gods, and the mythology of Hindi. It was really similar to Korean traditional mythology. Uh, So I don't think it's kind of copied at each other. Yeah, I just think of that many mythology and traditional stories from between Korea and India. Uh, they are very, they have many similarity, and they are connected to each other. Every stories are connected to each other, I think. So it was joyful to find out that kinds of connection between Korea and India. So
That's nice. It's always good to know that, there is some sort of link or the other between two countries which on the surface look so different from each other.
Yeah.
Now, I had a question. In the book We on the Chamundi Hills, the narrative switches from May to Yunhee.
Yes.
And as the story progresses, it could be seen that, they are like two sides of the same coin. So, how do you manage to juggle two different narratives? How do you show two sides of the same coin?
I could find out many kinds of emotions from my inner side, such as anger, darkness, sadness, depressions, and more joyful, something like that. We could see many kinds of emotions from our inner side. However, sometimes the emotions could could sometimes the emotions could moving without myself. And I like to seeing my emotions deeply. And I wanted to write it down my emotions from myself. So it wasn't difficult to describe and write it down many kinds of characters, mm, even only one character. Yeah, um, you know, the me and May and Uni on my novel, yeah, they are actually one character, same character, but it's separated from one character. Mm. So sometimes I cannot understand myself, what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. Sometimes it's really a different person in my inside. Yeah. So I described this kind of person from myself in my inner side. So I like to sing and describe that different characters from myself this way.
Yeah, I agree. In so many other works in literature, you can see how people can have two completely different sides,
Right.
but at the end, it's the same person. So, one thing I wanted to ask is when you're writing and when you're exploring the world of literature, you have actually in the past recommended this book called Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo, and which has feminist themes. And considering the current social climate of South Korea, which is generally anti feminist, do you think such books with feminist themes would have popularity in Korea?
Yeah, actually, the book you mentioned, the title is Girl, Woman, Others by Bernardine Evaristo in UK. So she is a British writer and black and queer, actually. So she wrote down her real story in the book, and she got a Booker Prize of that book. Uh, so these kinds of story who wrote it, it's very, it needs very, it needs many courage, because y- many people don't like feminism stories, and they don't like feminists. In South Korea, it's actually same. Many public people really hate the feminism stories, feminism book. One of popular book, it's a best-selling book in South Korea a few years back. Its name is Kim Ji-young. Kim Ji-young was born 1982. I cannot remember the English title exactly.
Yes, it's Kim Ji Young, born
Maybe
1982.
and it's also film movie in South Korea, and although the writer, she became a famous and best-selling writer, many people blame her. Why she wrote this kind of trashy book? People said like that, and she got depressed or many times. So although the public don't like those kinds of feminism, queer, or handicapped people stories, but uh, among the critics and publisher and editors, artists, they truly like this kind of story, you know, and they think it's their uh, it's their burden. They have to write these kinds of topics. So in the published world, yeah, many people like this kind of a book. So and in Korean society, there are 50-50 people who like feminism or not. Uh, we still don't know what's the solution or answers about it, but I believe that if someone who is a real true writer, they have to keep writing about those kinds of stories, and they have to keep seeing the people who is isolated from this society. So it's on. This is the work for the artists and writers. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's only through people getting exposed to the lives of people who are less fortunate, the lives of people who have less rights, that they can better their lot, that they can show their hardships to the rest of the world. And being a writer itself is also a bit of a struggle in one way or another, especially in Asian societies, like with South Korea and India too. Being a writer is not necessarily an ideal sort of career that parents would push you to. Um, as a writer, how did you manage to break that sort of mold to actually become a writer? And is there anything you regret in your journey up until now?
Yeah, I already said that writers can get lots of money. It's not a economical job uh, throughout the world. I think uh, I have joined the international writing program in the University of Iowa, the USA. I saw many international writers there. Uh, for instance, Greek, Malawi, Burma, Myanmar, Thailand, Japan. Yeah, all over writers there. They uh, kept saying about the same things. They cannot make lots of money. So many writers throughout the world, they have a second job. Uh, if they don't have a second job, they cannot live properly, actually. However, why they keep writing? Why they keep writing a book? Mm. For me, when I was younger, uh, my parents also uh, very poor. So although I was just 5 years old, my parents go out to work harder. So I spent time alone, although I was too young. However, I always open the book, and whenever I read a book, I could see many friends there, and I could go to any other country, and I could experience many adventures. So I really didn't feel lonely whenever I read books. So mm, I especially like the story books. So uh, so the literature. Uh, that's why I wanted to be a writer, and the literature became my friends and lover and family and kind of religion for me. So I cannot imagine the life without literature. Uh, so although uh, I cannot make lots of money with my job, uh, but it still makes me keep living. Uh, I cannot imagine without book for my life. So I have no regret about it. Mm, and I wish I could keep writing in my whole life. And if I have a chance, and if I'll be reborn the next generation, of course I could choose the job as a writer again and again. Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
no problem.
Now we have some time for a question and answer session if you'd be willing to have one. So, anybody from the audience is open to asking any questions to Miss Hena Kim? Any volunteers? We'll be passing around the mic to anybody who wants to ask. So, feel free to go ahead and ask.
You are from the country where Blackpink and BTS are more famous than writers. I am sure that you will know the youngsters of India, especially the youngsters of Kerala too, are very much fond and very much influenced by BTS and Blackpink. So, if we ask our youngsters, do you know any writers from South Korea or Korea? They'll say, we only know BTS and Blackpink. How can you say that a country will be known more for their music than their books?
For sure, I love K drama, Korean dramas, and K-pop. You mentioned Blackpink, BTS. I especially love Blackpink actually. I love it too. However, uh, we cannot see the real life through these kinds of drama or uh, K-pop singing. Um, the real life is in the literature books, literary books, I think. For example, uh, have you guys heard about the novel The Vegetarian by Hangang? She got a Nobel Prize this year, this October, actually. Yeah, the vegetarian, a novel, The Vegetarian, is the story on a housewife. She suddenly started a vegetarian diet, and she threw away all of meat things, meat and fishes, eggs, or something like that, from her refrigerator. And she got many problems with her husband because of it. And we could see why the couple got the problems because of the vegetarian diet. And behind of that story, the vegetarian, we could see the history of violence. Uh, she believed that uh, many people, the human being, are too violent, and the uh, meat things, it's the result of the violence. That's why she reject eating meat, and we could um, Korean history and the you know the patriarchy and discrimination for the women in the novel. So although the K-pop and dramas give us lots of joyful and delighted things, but in the world, it's not only right things. It has also darkness, and literature, the novels, could show us about the darkness things, and we have to upset the two things at the same time because it's the real world. We could see the real life if we could see the real life and darkness in our lives, we could live more courage, and we could keep writing with more wisdom. So I recommend you the novel by Hangang, Korean writer. It, she has many published English book, translated books. So I hope we could read these kinds of real life stories all together. Yeah.
That's nice. Korea, apart from having a prolific music and drama scene, also has a very prolific literary scene, as you mentioned. So definitely do check out The Vegetarian by Han Kang, and of course, We on the Chamandi Hills by Hena Kim. Any further questions from the audience?
My name is Sheena and I'm from Kerala only. I think you came to Kerala like a week ago, and my question is not related to literature. I'm asking you about your opinion on Kerala. Like, have you visited any place? What is your opinion on our state? About our literature work? Like, have you ever read any translation works done by our artists, our writers? And what is you? Have you ever tried any cuisine, Kerala cuisine, and any places that you have visited in our place, in our state? That's it.
Thank you for asking me. For me, I arrived at Kerala last night. Actually, it was first time visit for me. So I didn't see many of the things in Kerala yet, not yet. So uh, I didn't experience experience many things in Kerala yet, but I've heard that in Kerala it's very the political issues are very high in Kerala. Many Koreans respect Kerala's politician and Kerala's people. They are both the communist side. They choose these politic systems, right? Uh, yeah, so many Koreans respect about it, and uh, so I hope I could see many cultures in Kerala.